Travel agency owners, who should you be looking for your next IC hire? How do you build that team of all rock stars? What traits make the best travel agents? If you want to find out all the deets, keep on watching. That's what we're doing on today's show. All right, for all of my agency owners, welcome to the show today. I want to remind you to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell right here on YouTube, and also that we have an agency owner playlist. You can skip over all the playlists for those new agents and growing agents. You're an owner now, so make sure you check out that special playlist that's just for you. And today we are talking about such a relevant topic for every agency owner. How do you really find that particular person or people that are going to help you scale your team with the perfect fit for you and your agency? If you're new here, type a little "I'm new" in comments so I can welcome you to our community. And if you are new, my name is Cyndi Williams. I'm the CEO and founder of Wanderlust Campus. I have been training travel professionals since 1994. So I have been around for a minute, celebrating going into my 31st year in the industry. And if there's one thing I know, it's what to look for and who is really going to be successful as a travel advisor. So if you are an agency owner and you're in that place where you're like, how do I scale and build my team? We're going to break it down for you today. So first things first, I want to talk about my rule number one. Keep in mind, I have literally hired hundreds of people in my lifetime for different businesses, different positions. When I worked in corporate, at one point I ran an operation that was 300 plus phone agents on the phone. And so I know a lot about what it takes to have that, a team full of the successful, best top producers, right? Here's the number one thing. I'm going to lead with the number one thing so you don't have to wait till the end of the video. The number one thing, believe it or not, is hire for attitude, train for skill. What do I mean by that? A person who has a great attitude and a love for travel will actually have more longevity and fit better in your culture than someone that has a really bad attitude, even if they're really great as a travel agent. Because you know the old saying, one bad apple can spoil the bunch. If you have someone that brings the energy down, brings the vibe down, messes with your culture, when you're building a company and you're scaling a team, that can be a really fragile environment. You have to be really careful about every single person that you are inviting to help grow your organization. This is so, so important. They've actually proven this scientifically now. They did a study. Gosh, I was reading about it just last week, but they did a study where they put small groups of people together and they would have all positive people. And then in half of the groups, they introduced someone who was intentionally negative. And this was only for about 20 to 25 minutes at a time. And then they asked them to complete a task. And all of the groups, you can guess what happened. The ones that had one negative person, even though it was a group of like 5 or 6 people, all of the groups that had that one negative person, they performed 40% worse than the groups that had all people that were positive and working towards a task and working towards a common goal. Think about that. Hire for attitude, train for skill. I've seen it in my real life, scientifically proven. And that's the other thing too. A lot of people will feel like it's counterproductive. I don't have time to train anyone. I just want to have experienced agents. Well, that's great if it's an experienced agent that has a fantastic attitude, hire away. However, if you have an experienced agent that thinks they know everything, they don't want to adopt your systems, they don't want to buy into the company philosophy, it can be an upward climb and you don't want that. So think about that as rule number one. Number two thing you really have to think about, especially if you're a new agency owner and you haven't thought through all of this, there can be people that interview very, very well and they don't do a great job. There can also be people that don't interview so well, but they are fantastic. I am really good at spotting this because I have done a lot of research on psychology and work habits and things like that. In fact, one of the things we train our Wanderlust CEOs on in our 6-month-long program is we teach them about the psychology of personality profiling. And why that comes in handy is, first of all, there's no bad, as far as that, we're not talking about bad attitude and positive, bad attitude and good attitude now. We're talking about different personality types. There are certain personalities that work really good in some roles and not in others. For example, there's a personality type that would be fantastic as an accountant, but you wouldn't want them running the creatives or the marketing team for your company, right? So we teach on the psychology of that. I don't have time to go into a 4-hour session like we do with our CEOs, but I want all that to say is, if you could pick 1 or 2 traits that are really important if you have a growing, scaling team, you have to have someone that is very detail-oriented and professional. This is important because as a small agency, you do not have the luxury of having a lot of high dollar mistakes. People that are not detailed, they rush through things, they don't check reservation numbers, they don't triple check names, how things are written, how things are spelled, passport information. There's so many things you can make a mistake on as a new travel agent. You don't want that liability coming back to your agency. So really making sure you're pre-screening and finding that detail-oriented, that they have those traits regardless of personality type, that's really important to avoid those big mistakes. One of the really easy ways you can do this in your hiring process is to add some instructions in your interview or in your onboarding process. Like before you officially hire someone to come on board or hire them to be a contractor for you, put some instructions in how they are supposed to send you the resume, or maybe have them add a video file. Put 2 or 3 simple instructions. If they cannot follow the simple instructions, they probably may not be a fit for being a travel agent, which has so much detail. We actually had 2 positions open in our company last month, and the positions were open for like 6 weeks because the first 4 weeks that we had one of the positions open, we got a ton of applicants. Nobody followed the instructions. And this is one of those small things, but if I'm going to hire in this particular role that we were hiring for, it wasn't for a travel agent, but it was a role that had to be very detail oriented and it had to interface on behalf of me sometimes. And so it was one of those roles where written communication had to be good, attention to detail had to be good, following instructions had to be impeccable. And so if they couldn't do that in the interview process, we had embedded some simple things that they had to do in order to apply for the role. So if they didn't do those, they were automatically not even looked at as a candidate. So think about kind of filtering some of those things in. It's going to save you time and energy. And most of all, it's going to save you some heartache later. All right, number 3 thing to screen for. Are they really serious? You guys know my thought on MLMs. We're not hiring just to hire. We're not that's not the goal. If you're watching this video, hopefully you are a travel agency owner that is really invested in your people's success, meaning you're not making your money from them recruiting other people. That's not what we do here on the channel. We teach you how to run real travel businesses, run real travel agencies. And so if that is really your goal, you have to make sure that people aren't just like, oh yeah, I love travel, turn it on, and you're collecting like a $50 fee every month, but they're not actually selling anything for the agency. So you have to gauge how serious are they? Are they really willing to put in the work? And one of the ways that you can do that is ask them in the interview, do you already have any industry certifications? Do you have your associate travel professional? Do you have your certified travel professional? So they may have some of those already. That would be great if they're already Wanderlust Campus trained. You're going to have a gem if that's the case. And there's some other certifications in the industry too. But just ask. And it's okay if they don't. I'm not saying that would be a disqualifier. But then your next question could be, well, are you willing to earn some of those certifications as you grow in your career? Is that something that you would consider important as you become a professional in our industry? And that's going to really tell the story of if they're going to be open to any training opportunities you have for them, and also if they're willing to earn a real certification where they're going to be a better, well-qualified, better selling agent for you. So think about that. And you're also going to have to educate. A lot of agency owners don't realize the most of the world does not understand how the industry works as far as our hiring models and how travel agencies work. You're going to have to educate people on the difference of, I'm not hiring you to be an employee, I'm hiring you as a contractor. Here's what that means. You are still responsible for your training, for your marketing, for all of those different pieces that they have to, kind of how they're going to run their business under the umbrella of your business is they are hosting with you. So a lot of the typical people that are like, oh, how do you be a travel agent? They're not going to come armed with that knowledge. So make sure you get good at explaining the difference in our industry and where it feels good to them, they understand, and you can kind of, have full transparency from day one. That's really important. One of the things that we do for our educational partners, those of our Wanderlust CEOs that are in our 6-month-long program, they can apply to be educational partners with us. And what that means is they have a ready-made, new hire, semi-white labeled training program that Wanderlust Campus actually delivers to their new agents. So it's a kind of a plug and play, ready to go. And if someone says, yes, I'd be willing to do that, our Wanderlust CEOs can go, great, here's a discount code, go get this program. And then all of their agents in their agency now have sales skills, marketing skills, how to be an agent, plus the whole suite of tools that Wanderlust Campus arms them with that takes the weight off agency owners having to train and do all of the things that it takes to get an agent from zero to really being a knowledgeable agent that is ready to sell in their environment. So, and by the way, if your goal is to create an entire team of super sellers for your agency, definitely check out our Wanderlust CEO program, which is for agency owners. We actually work as an educational partner for you, so your agents that are coming on new to your agency have a training solution that will take them from not knowing anything about the industry to being fully trained, understanding how to sell, how to market, how to do the job as a travel advisor, and all of the things that takes, especially in their first 90 to 120 days, that critical period when they're getting onboarded. You have to get them from zero to making sales really quickly so they see the benefit and then they're staying with you long term. That's really the goal. And we know as small business agency owners, you don't have the time to do everything. So we'd be honored to help you with that if that's in alignment with your goals. But no matter what, I hope you got some great tips from today's video. If there's anything you guys need from us, visit us at travelschool.com. If you want to apply for the Wanderlust CEO program, you can go to wanderlustceo.com/start. Apply, just schedule a goal planning session with our enrollments department. We'll learn about your goals, and if it's a match to talk about that program, we can give you more information on that. But guys, I wish you so much love, so much abundance. I wish you the world. I'll see you on the next one. If you like that last video, make sure you check out all the content available to you on our channel. And I invite you to follow along, travel with me around the world as I grow and scale my travel businesses. You're gonna pick up some great tips, some great tricks on how you can grow your own travel brand too. I'm gonna drop some links down below, and also check out these videos I handpicked just for you.